Hey guys, back for another Car Talks. In this one, I want to talk about more about not necessarily IT or career, but about some productivity hacks and tips that I've came across over the years. So, if you don't know already, I'm a big productivity geek. I subscribe to the philosophy or the religion of getting things done, GTD by David Allen. I've read countless things about from Merlin Mann, Inbox Zero, and all these different productivity tips and tricks. And I've came across a lot of things over the years. But I could go into a whole series of talks and about productivity. But for this one, I want to talk about something that's extremely important when it comes to getting things done and showing that, more importantly, I guess, showing that you're reliable and that you are, that you can be relied on to do things that you say you're going to do. So let me give you an example of that. In a meeting, let's say you're in a meeting and, everybody's talking, all these different things they're talking about, and Susie says, so yeah, we need to do this. Can you go ahead and do this, Adam? And you go, sure. And nothing, and you do nothing. You think, okay, I'm going to make a mental note of this that I'm going to remember later. And you don't write it down. Well-intentioned, sure, and it may take 5 minutes, but then as soon as you come out of the meeting, you get a drive-by and say, hey, Adam, I was wondering about this thing. Can you do this thing for me? And you say, sure, that's a problem, and you make another mental note. Okay, all right, and you go to your desk, get a phone call, and it's about a project that you're working on, and you spend half an hour in the zone talking about this project. Okay, you hang up the phone, you get an email, ding, here's a trouble ticket that you need to fix. Okay, all right, then you do that, and by the time you get on this hamster wheel, and by the time it's all said and done, it's 5 o'clock, and you go home. And then you come in the next day, you feel refreshed. Okay, all right, what do I have to do? Check your email, answer your phone, talk to your coworkers, and then before you know it, at that point, those mental notes you made have been cleared away. There's no way that you're going to remember to do that again. And in order to get that done, Susie is going to have to follow up with you, or that drive-by person that's going to have to follow up with you, say, hey, have you done this? Like, oh shit, no, I haven't done it, I'm sorry. Then at that point, you come across as flighty, you come across as forgetting things, and by the time you know it, you're not going to be relied to upon anything, and at that point, you're not really looked upon too positively. Let's just say that. But there's ways to get around that, and there's a lot of different ways to this, but it's all about some kind of system that you have. It's all about a task management, personal project management system. And one of the first steps in that, I guess, you have a system has an input, it processes some things, and it has an output, right? So an input is anything you have to do into the system. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You can, input would be, I want to put in a project, or I want to define a project and define all the tasks in the project. That's not something that you want to do off the cuff. In order to, for you to make sure you remember all these things, you have to first get it in the system, and you want to get in the system as quickly as possible. So what that means is a quick note of just the minimum amount of information you need in order to remember what you're supposed to do. So let's say that in the meeting, Susie says, can you, can you install this piece of software on this server for me? Okay, you would just, in the meeting, instead of just making a mental note and think you're going to remember, which you never will, make a note in your phone. I use OmniFocus to do this. You could use a notepad. You could use whatever you want. Document Susie software XYZ server foo. That's all it takes, and that's going to give you a reminder to actually do that. But that's all about the capturing process. There's a whole nother phase system of things you can do to actually, organize all this stuff and achieve, do priorities and all that stuff. And I can talk about that more, maybe in our later future talks if you guys want. But since it's more of an IT sort of thing, I normally don't go much into the productivity stuff. But yeah, it's all about capturing. Find a quick capture system. And once you capture it, have a routine, a regular time that you review all that captured stuff. So David Allen in his Getting Things Done book says it's all about the weekly review. At least touch it weekly. If you know that Susie's request it's not immediate, doesn't have to happen today or tomorrow, has to happen sometime within the next couple weeks or something, you know that if you have that weekly review set aside, you're going to look at that. And then you're going to prioritize it based on all the other tasks and projects that you have. But it's, for this purpose, this Car Talks, it's all about quick input, fast, not thinking about it. Whenever you're in the, fight and you're in the fire hose of that we're in IT and software development and all that in technology and all that space, it's all about fast. We're constantly switching, multitasking between things, and we don't want to have to think about, well, what does it have to do? Is this a project? Should I break it up in subtasks? No, it's all about real quick, get it done, get it in there. All you need to do is get a reminder. And then what that will do is once you have that reminder in there, not only will that take care of, acting as a reminder for later on, you'll also notice that it relieves your brain, I guess, a little from having to remember all of that stuff. When I didn't do this before, I would keep all these things in my head, and then I would just get frustrated and overwhelmed because I got so much stuff to do. And in reality, I felt like I did, but I really didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what I had to do, but I knew I had a lot of stuff to do. I had a lot of stuff to do, at least I thought I did, because I had all these things in my head and I couldn't quantify all this stuff. I may have forgotten 3 or 4 things. My brain subconsciously knew I had a lot of stuff, but I couldn't remember all the stuff I had to do, and then I just got overwhelmed. So for really good to getting things done and productivity, always just have some kind of quick capture system. It could be your phone, it could be your moleskin notebook, it could be your computer. It doesn't matter. As long as you can get something quick, get it captured immediately, and then review it on a regular basis. I'm sure you will definitely appear to be a much more productive and much more reliable coworker.